What up, guys? How's it going? Today we're going to learn a little bit more about how to improvise. Now, my last video was pretty rambly, pretty scatterbrained, but this is kind of how we're going to do it. I'm going to teach a lesson as if you're sitting here right in front of me, but you can't really ask questions until after I post the video. But I can try my best to answer them in the comments section. But for now, we're going to talk about how to improvise. So the first thing you want to do when improvising, and this is strictly blues, and I think today we'll strictly do 12-bar blues, the simplest example I have for you. You want to find the key you're in. Okay, so now how do we do that? How do we find the key? Now you have to have the ear. I remember the first time I tried this, there was just like something about it. I just could tell. My teacher would play 4 chords. He goes, which one of these is the 1 chord? And I don't know if I was right the first time, but eventually I got it. And it was the note that sounds the most in tune. So I'm going to play this song. I'm going to start right here. So here we go. Here's the turnaround. You can feel it turning around. Okay, so here's the first note. We're going to try to find it. What do you think that sounded like? How about this one? 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 Maybe we'll go back one. Listen to the relationship that note has with the song. And if you know anything about guitar already, you know that this string and this string, the inner and outer strings, the big and the small strings, the first and the sixth strings, are both the E string, meaning they're the same note, so the same frets will work. So if this note works, this note's gonna work. Okay? Now, we're gonna pause it for a second. So I want you to do that. We're gonna pick a random song. Now, I gotta be careful because I don't want to get my video blocked or demonetized or whatever. So I have to just play little bits and pieces. So we're gonna do backing track. I'm gonna hide the screen from you guys, and I'm going to just click on one. Now I know the key, but like even if I didn't, okay? Here's how I would find it. We're listening. That's how I would find it until one of those notes sounds right. So I want you to do it. Maybe up here so you can hear it better. Okay, now let's pause it. In case that got cut out, what I was doing is I was playing a backing track and then I was clicking each note, picking, not clicking, each note of the E string until I found a note that went right in tune with it. My ear said it was in tune. Now, when I first started, my ear wasn't that great. It's something you train. It's not a natural given thing. Maybe for some people it is. But for me, it was not. And I've been able to make a living playing music for the last 8 years, not being a natural. So if I can do it, you can do it too. Find the key that it's in. It could take a while to learn how to do that. We're going to be doing it a lot in this video. So just close your eyes and listen as I play along. So let's go back to my track here, since I know I won't get demonetized for this. Once we figure out the key that we're in this case it's A. So now I guess I should go over this. If you don't know your notes on the strings, learn all your notes on the E string first, and then we'll go from there. That's how I've done it. I learned it on the E, and then I eventually found some tricks to find every other note, and now I can just play a D, and I know it's a D. Play a B, know it's a B. Play an A, know it's an A. I didn't like sit and go, okay, 15th fret, E string is a G. I didn't do that stuff. I just learned it all on the E string first, and then was able to do some tricks, which we will learn later on in this video, to show you how to find more of those notes. Basically, if you can find as many A's on this guitar as you can, okay, those are all A, and what you can do from this A, you can do from this A, right? And you could do from this A, if I had more frets. So you see how they all have the same sound, but in different octaves and different places on the guitar. Now, what makes the guitar tricky is you can do this, or this. They sound exactly the same. The guitar has many different ways you can play stuff, so even like... Those are all exactly the same notes. On sheet music, it would be written exactly the same. On piano, they would all be played the exact same. On guitar, there's many different options. So just be aware of that. For now, we're going to kind of simplify it as much as we can. Let's start actually playing, okay? So we're in A. We're going to learn the first thing that everybody learns. We touched on it on my first video, but I kind of ripped through it. But we're going to go a little bit beginner and then eventually more intermediate. So we're going to play what's called the minor pentatonic. You go 5th fret on the E string with your first finger, 8th fret on the E string with your pinky, 1st fret on the A string with your first finger, and then the 7th fret on the A string with your ring finger. Now, well, that's perfect. I have a ring too, so you really know. Okay, so that's the first 4 notes. Those are the most commonly used notes in the blues. Okay, now pentatonic, penta means 5, so there's 5 notes total. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. The next note's going to be the first finger on the D string on the 5th fret. I get dyslexic when I talk like that. It's so hard, which is what's prevented me from teaching, this kind of way for a long time. But we're going to go for it. So we got 5th fret, 8th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, and then we're going to, before I go there, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Then it's going to repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now listen with your ear, don't look. Those are the same phrases, the same lines, the same scale, but one of them's up the octave. So what that means is, this is an A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we saw A, and then the 2nd note, 3rd note, 4th note, 5th note, and then we get to this note, it's another A. So listen. So that leads me to my first trick of how to figure out every note on the guitar. If you've memorized your E string, all you gotta do is go down 2 frets, down 2 strings and down 2 frets. So like this. We got the A, then we go down a string, and then we go over 2 frets. Down 2 strings, over 2 frets. So if you look, make sure you can really see it. So we got this one and this one. If you look at my picking hand, I'm hitting this one and that one, the E strings and the D strings. Those are both A. So if you know that this note's a D, you can go down 2 strings and down 2 frets, and you've got a D. And if something's not sounding right, trust your ear and take a look. You're like, oh, I went down 3 frets. Or, okay, something's not sounding right. I went down 3 strings and over 2. It's down 2 strings, over 2 frets to the right. So now that we've got our A and our A, and don't forget our A, that's 2 full octaves. So we got 1, 2. Okay, and that A is the beginning of the 3rd octave, which would be, right? But that's all in 1 string. We're not even going to worry about that. We're going to stick right here on the 5th fret, and we're going to play this scale. A lot of people say, oh, my solos sound like scales. That sounds boring. Well, guess what? That's how it's going to start. We're going to start a little boring. Here, we can make it a little more exciting with some dirt. Now, a good way to practice this, take a little bit of dirt off, is all downstrokes. Check my right hand. And then all the way back down, downstrokes. And then you're going to do the elusive alternate picking, which is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then start over and down. Actually, you know what, on this one, we're going to start, on this one, start on this fret right here. This is the 8th fret on the B string, then start your downstroke there. It's so much easier to start a 2-note phrase, like if there's 2 notes on each string, like there is on this one. It's so much easier to start with a downstroke, and that's more of a kind of an intermediate to advanced technique, is to worry about the string escape, like which way the pick is escaping the strings. But for now, just try to do alternate picking. And then down, starting here. Okay, that'll be the easiest way to do it for now. It's going to take a while. If you're just learning this for the first time, that's going to take a while to even get to that speed. And then eventually you can, right? I mean, that's about as fast as I can play it, but then there's guys like Joe Bonamassa or Eric Johnson, obviously. I think of those two guys for shredding the pentatonic scale. It's about as fast as I can play. Now, we've got that scale down. We know we're in the key of A. We found our scale. Now, that's going to work whatever key we're in. Let's say you're plucking along, and you find this is the root, okay? Then we go down here and we do the same thing. Now, you'll also notice, let's go back to A real quick. You'll notice that I went up with the pinky there. Remember, anything that happens on this string can happen on this string. So I just go from this A up to this note here. Now that's something you're going to see a lot. This is the scale. Now, you can practice it a bunch like I did, but the real key here isn't being able to play it fast like that. The real trick is just to know when to use each of these 5 notes. Now in this case there's like 10, but we're going to call it 5 in 2 octaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe a couple extra notes there. So whatever. That's the pattern. Let's see how we can make music out of this. In the last video, we talked about chord tones. Go ahead and watch that one if you're a little bit more intermediate. If you're a beginner, that one might go over your head a little bit. I went a little too hard on the chord tones, but we're going to talk on the turnaround. So it doesn't really start on the root, on the A, until 21 seconds, okay? So that's where I'll be starting all my phrases. Here we go. Check it out. That sounded like music, and it was just a scale. All we did was play the scale, and it sounded like music. Now watch, here's the next chord, and we're gonna do it again. A little variation there, right? It sounds good. Now let's go back to 21 seconds here. What I want to do now instead is play the same scale, but instead of playing it all the way up, I'm just going to play a select few notes. Okay, so that phrase was right here. D string, 7th fret. This is the 2nd octave of the scale. So we're starting right in the middle, and I like to play on the D string, G string, and B string when I'm soloing. Those are the sweet spots for me. Okay, so what I did was I did like double taps, 2 A's, and then and you can use that everywhere. See that little bend I do right there on the 5th fret on the G string? That takes us to my next point here is the note right after the root. So let's see, we got 1, 2, the 2nd note there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. That 2nd note after the root can always have a little bend on it. Watch this. Let's play with the track. So we got, see that bend? Let's do it here. Up here. What you're gonna wanna do is slow down, listen to it. I'm not bending it all the way, I'm just barely bending it. Yeah, right? So we're gonna slow it down. Remember, you can zoom in, you can slow it down on YouTube. I'm just pulling it away. And then I'm muting it actually with my right hand. Now there's so many techniques. If we're playing on easy mode on Guitar Hero, you don't have to mute. You just play the note and play the next note. Downstrokes and downstrokes. If I'm playing on expert mode, I'm going. I'm hitting 2 strings at once. Which they call double stops. I don't know why. I call it 2 notes at once. I mean, you don't have to. I can push forward. Okay. We've got the scale. Now we've got some basic licks. Now let's do the fun part. This is the part I'm worried about though because it might demonetize me, but we're going to try it anyway. BB King Live. I just type in BB King Live. I don't even know what the video is going to be. We're going to click on, in fact, It's the first video I ever saw of B.B. King. It's what got me into the blues, so this is perfect. B.B. King, Thrill Is Gone, live at Mantra 1993. Let's listen to how it starts. I hear bo-da-dum. So I know we're in C, okay? And I hear, and you can watch his hand to see that he hits the C. So now, just real quick, our scale now is C. Same rules apply. The root starts here, then the root's here, down 2 strings, over 2 strings, and then the same on the both E strings. So the 8th fret now is our root. So our scale can be starting on the 8th fret. But we're gonna play tastefully now. Now that I know the key, we can learn his licks a lot easier because we know what notes he's gonna be using. They're probably gonna be that minor pentatonic scale, especially because the Thrill Is Gone is in minor. Now, some blues songs are in major and you're gonna hear stuff like this. That's another lesson. For now, we're gonna stick to the minor pentatonic. Okay, I heard. Okay, that's a little high out of our range. We're gonna wait till he plays a lick that we recognize. Okay, I probably cut a lot out, but I found a lick where he plays right down the pentatonic scale. Listen. Okay? And his tone is much more like and clean. Let's get this right here. Okay, so let's learn that lick. 11th fret with a little bend. Like I said, you can always bend that note to the root. Now, you can do all downstrokes. I like the sound of all downstrokes. Let's see what he does. He's alternate picking. So you can do that as well. Also, that high note. That's the, what? 19, what fret is that? So we got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20th fret is another C. So he hits that. Probably the most B.B. King-esque lick of all time. But then he goes down. And he even goes, you can even go lower. Now, for all you out there who say scales don't make a solo, here's a perfect example. Because this is the blues king himself, B.B. King, running down the pentatonic minor scale. But he's not just playing it down the scale. Right? He's... What? Just listen again. Okay, so put some vibrato on that root. However you want to do vibrato for now. Shake the hell out of your hand there. Kind of like that. Okay, let's see what he does after that. He kind of just trails up. Something like that. But for our reasoning today, we're going to go. Okay, so in fact, that is enough for you right now. That's enough for anybody if it's enough for the king. Hit that 20th fret, slide down. So you got the note and the ornamentation. You got the note and then how you play it. You got what you play and how you play it. Here we go. Hit the note, slide down, and then 11th fret, hit the note and bend it a little bit. You can even rake the strings. See how I'm raking them? Give that a shot. You don't want that. You want to mute them. You can mute with your right or left hand. Well, maybe we'll talk about muting in another video. That's a whole thing. So you got the bend, and then oh, dude, it's 3 different techniques. You got the note and slide, then you got the note and bend, and then you got the note and vibrato, and then just run the scale down. Real soft. Try soft. Beginners don't play soft. Beginners play everything at the same volume level. See how cool it sounds when you go loud to soft? It's way harder than it seems. I've run exercises like that where I just play loud. Right? It's so cool. It's cascading sound. Okay. Boom. We're going to stop on that. There's our B.B. King. Pick another guitar player. Who's another one of your favorites? Albert King, good idea. Albert King live. Alert King is what I wrote. Okay, blues power. I'm gonna watch this until well, first of all, let's find the key. So listen. Okay, this is a bad example. Back in the day, they didn't have electric tuners, so sometimes they were all tuned in between what we tune to nowadays, and I don't want to mess with that, so we're going to pick a different video. Let's see if this one's in tune with today's standards. Okay. There we go. Did you see how I found the key? Until it sounded good in my ear. You're down. Okay, right? We got the key. The key is G. Now, we gotta know our G. Remember, you're gonna learn all the notes on the E string first. So you know this third fret is a G. Right now, you guys know A, you know C, and G. So A is on the 5th fret, C is on the 8th fret, and G is on the 3rd fret. This is really good. These are really common keys. Really good to learn the scale in all those keys. Now, what's cool is you just learn the scale in A, and you just, there's B flat, there's B, there's C. Beauty of guitar is you don't have to relearn a new pattern. On piano, all the patterns are different. On saxophone, all the notes are different. All the patterns, I mean. But on guitar and violin, like stuff with strings, it's all linear like that. You just learn the same position and it works. Now there's stuff like E flat, since I guess you could do it here. Anyway, I digress. Let's listen for a lick that's gonna be within this position. Okay, so here's actually something we could do. Let's play that B.B. King lick in this key. We're in the key of G now. So our root was here before. So now we go from 8th fret down to the 3rd fret. How many frets is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. So let's take that high note and move it down 5 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In theory, and it is, that's a G. So we're gonna hit it, slide, and then we're gonna go to here to the 8th fret, 6th fret, and bend. And then 3rd fret and vibrato. So, okay. And then soft. Okay, that's what I forgot. So there's 4 steps to it. Hit the note and slide, hit the note and bend, hit the note and vibrato, and then play the scale soft. And end on the root there. So, see how that works? Okay, but we're in G, now let's learn an Albert King lick. Okay, I found one. Now, I was going to try to find a different one from the B.B. King one since it's very similar, but there are honestly a lot of similar licks in here, and that's because both of these songs I chose are in minor keys, so they're not going to do any of the major notes, which would throw a wrench in my whole lesson plan here. So, check this out. You can't really watch this when the camera's not on, and plus he tunes differently, so we don't want to look at his guitar, but we want to listen. And then... Okay, so we're going on the 6th fret here on the B string, and we're gonna run down the scale. Now I think he's doing all downstrokes here. Let's listen and watch. Well, yeah, because he uses his fingers. So if you want to really sound like Albert King, but that's kind of more advanced stuff to try to sound like people. For now, you're just trying to learn the parts. But for you advanced guys, I mean, listen to that. I'm not very good at it. Okay, so the lick is down the scale. We'll just downstroke everything. This is a different thumb. Because the thumb pops it. Pop, pop, pop. The pick, totally different. So we'll use the pick just for consistency, but... Now remember what I said. The second note after the root in our scale can have bends. Just like this lick. Okay? Now let's listen to his lick again. Okay, so just down the scale, literally 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of the 5-note scale. Just like B.B. King did it, real soft, up here. He went. Right? And down here, we're going. That's how he ends it. So B.B. King went. And kind of like went like something like that, but Albert King, he does a little bend there. See? It's not just vibrato. It's like a bend and vibrato. But right now, just pick one. You can either go and then mute with your right hand. See how I did that? Even if it's less obvious, I still do it. Because here's what it sounds like if you don't. Not as cool. Okay? Or you can go. And then with the thumb. Cool. All right. Let's do one more. Pick another one of your favorite guitar players. Freddie King? Sure, dude. Freddie King. Have You Ever Loved a Woman? Now, that is in major. We got some songs in major here. Let's do Going Down. That's his most popular song, and I think he's going to use the minor scale. It is a good exercise to try to close your eyes and listen. That's a little bit more advanced, but it's definitely doable. Let's make sure we're in tune here. We're going to find the key first. Remember the steps. He's tuning up. Okay, we're right here. 10th fret. That's a D. And you can tell too because C's on the 8th fret and D is right up there. Obviously we're not going to go C sharp. We're going to go right to D. So you know E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C. There's no B sharp. C sharp D, D sharp E, F. So there's no E sharp. There's no B sharp. Everything else has a sharp in between it. So that's how you can learn it. Let's listen. Okay, I found a lick I like. This one's going to involve a bend. Now, not just a little measly half bend, but this is a whole step bend. These are important. Let's listen to it. So it's... And he's got a sharp tone, so we're going to get the sharp tone out. So we know we're on the 10th fret. So he's going to be on this second octave right here. So we're on the 12th fret of the D string. That's our root. And then we're going to, that's our root, and then we're going to climb up the scale. And instead of going here, right, like we do in our scale, if any of this is lost on you, maybe practice the scale for a few weeks. Really get a sense of that scale. Any fret will work. 1st fret, 4th fret, 8th fret. Okay, but today we're on the 10th fret right now. So we're in that second octave. We got this. So it's... Okay, but listen to it. There's a trick. There's something else to it. Check it out. Okay, so instead of... It's... Now this has a lot of stuff to it. So the basic idea is you're going to take this note and you're going to bend it until it sounds like this note. I like to use all 3 of my fingers on the 12th fret there. See, they're the same. Right? And the thing about bending is there's so many more variables now. Hitting a note on the fret, you're perfectly in tune. Bending it, you can be flat or sharp. So you have to really practice. I like to pull out a tuner and know this is an A note, and then I bend till it's exactly on the A on the tuner. Then I close my eyes and try to do it again. Okay, so once you got that down, which could take weeks, it could take hours, it could take weeks, it could take months. Because you don't want any other strings to ring open. So there's many different ways. You can look up any tutorial on how to bend. We're going to skip through that for now. We're just going to bend. We're going to push the string with my 3rd finger here, but with the other 2 supporting it. So we're going to start the lick that way. And then I pick it again when it's still bent. And I bring it down. So it's like you pick it, you bend it, you pick it, you unbend it. You can pause in between too. This is a more advanced one. You don't have to pause in between though. You can just go. And then down the scale. So even that is a good lick to practice. That's going to be everywhere. And once you learn the notes, then you know And in all three of these videos, which I implore you to go listen to and try to learn licks on your own by either watching or just listening, you know, you got the BB King, Thrill Is Gone in the key of C. You got Going Down here, which is in the key of D. Then you have the I'll Play the Blues for You in the key of G. Those scales are all going to work. But there's a spot they all play a lot of, which is, you know, so like, let's do it in the key of G. It's that same position, but up on the skinny string. So in the key of C, it'd be... And in the key of D, it's right here. We're not going to do that today because it requires a lot of bending and a lot of finesse. But I think you can go give it a listen and give it a shot. I've given you enough right now to where you can slow down the video and really watch. Look at what frets I'm on. Use your ear. I know the ear is not going to be reliable at first. Trust me, I used to play Highway to Hell in standard tuning along with the AC/DC's track, which was a half step down. So it would have sounded something like that. So your ear, if it's not reliable and you don't trust it, or for you out there who think you have a good ear, just double check, you know. Give yourself a little humility and maybe... You know, I wish I would have done that. I would have been a lot farther, a lot faster, but that's okay. So, we're in the key of D. Here's the lick so far. We're bending. And now we're going to go back to that note. And then down. So here it is. Here's the basic version. Here's our version. Did you catch that? Here's it slow. And I really, really recommend you play it that slow at first. Make sure there's no notes ringing that aren't the notes you're picking. Sometimes you pluck the wrong string. Sometimes strings will just ring open. If you have tons of distortion on, I don't really have tons of distortion. I was going to say, if I have like a metal amount of distortion on, sometimes the strings will just start vibrating on the pickups, and then you've got to do a lot more muting. But for now, and look, I'm doing it in different orders. And that's blues right there. Just pick any of those three notes. You can bend that one. Remember, you can short bend that one. So big bend, short bend, and of course vibrato the root is always a good idea. So that you can vibrato a bend too. That's advanced shit right there. Even I gotta be warmed up for that. And I've been doing it for 20 years. That's a cool little idea right there. Okay, let's listen one more time to Freddie's lick. He keeps going, it's longer. So it's... And see, this is how I learn stuff. I just listen to it, play it back, listen to it, play it back. And then eventually I try to play along with it to make sure it sounds good. Finding the first note is imperative. If you can find the first note, you're on track. If you can't, you're not going to find the next note if you don't have the first note down. So, that being said, I want you to play all three of these licks in all three of these keys. So let's do the Freddie King lick in G. Right? Right? And then we got the Albert King lick. Then we got the BB King lick. Okay, now let's go to key of A. No, C. Let's do the key of C. Let's do the BB King lick. Let's do the Albert King lick. And let's do the Freddie King lick. Okay, now in the key of D, let's do them. Albert. Freddie. Now, let's say I'm playing in the key of A on my backing track here. I'm going to do all of them combined. Ready? Right? Let's try it again. Let's do the Albert King lick first. Or no, Freddie. Different rhythms because we're in a different speed here. And then BB. And then Albert King. Now I like to go to this. Then here's a new box. That's the major box. Okay, so the major scale I did not learn for years and years and years. I was a rock and roll guy, I liked Metallica. All the solos are in minor, you know what I mean? 95% of them. A lot of rock stuff is in minor pentatonic scale. A lot of blues stuff is too. However, where the blues gets tricky is, for me, was the major scale stuff. To me, you know, as a kid, learning this major scale was cheesy and lame. Now I think it's way cooler than the minor. But the coolest thing to do is do them both. So, right, down the minor, up the major. See that? Here's major. Here's minor. Major. Minor. There you go. Hopefully that helped, man. It's been, I feel like I'm getting better. It's a little more concise. It's still a little all over the place. Hopefully you've learned something. Comment below what I missed or something I could clarify a little better for you. Or let me know if you liked it and you want more. I think the next video is probably going to be the chords, like how to actually play the 12-bar blues. Right? Doing both lead and rhythm at the same time, right? Or rhythm meaning chords. There's rhythm in everything, but the chords over different chord progressions we'll go over. I don't know. I'll do another post and I'll ask you guys what you want to learn. We can do a bajillion different versions of these, how to improvise. This was my best attempt at beginner to intermediate range with a little bit of advanced stuff here and there, but it really just depends. I mean, I know some guitar players are so advanced in one area and not as advanced in others, and I know other people that are exactly opposite of that. Some people that can play perfect rhythm can't do lead. Some people that can play a lot of lead stuff, you know, just like shredding freaking faster than I could ever imagine. But then when it comes to rhythm, they have none of it. So gotta learn it all. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Harmony, rhythm, melody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm rambling now. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you actually watched to this far through the video, that's the best thing you could do for me, and I appreciate that so much. If you want to catch me live, I'm over on twitch.tv/glitchhoundusa, where we can talk blues all day long. I like to go over there and play a little bit of guitar, do some video games, do some chatting, whatever it is. That's where I go. Tuesdays and Thursdays at the time of this recording is when I go live at 10 a.m. I'll put a link in the description. I think that's all I got for now, man. This has been fun. Thank you guys so much. Peace.